Hey guys, it's Jan Sharte and I'm back again with another video. So today's video is episode 2 of What I Learned Wednesday, and I'm super excited for this week's episode. You guys gave me amazing feedback about our first episode, which was all about DKNY. You all loved it, and that really made me happy. So I'm excited to bring you episode 2, which is all about Forever 21. And I'm super excited to talk about Forever 21 because that was my first job ever. First job I ever had in retail in general. I was 17 years old working at the mall. I just wanted some, some money for some clothes and some shoes and stuff like that. And my mom was like, I'm done with you. You got to get your own job. You got to make your own money. So, you might be thinking, it was your first job, girl. You were 17. What the heck could you have possibly learned then? What could you have learned that you could be applying right now? The answer is a lot. So if you are interested, stay tuned. So there are 3 key things that I want to talk about in this video, and I'm going to pray that I can keep this as short as possible, that I can stay, on point and straight to the point, but I'll probably have to cut some things out here and there. Anyway, the 3 things that we're going to talk about in this video include turnover, volume, and visuals. How those 3 things basically contributed to Forever 21's success over these years. So let's start with turnover. So what the heck is turnover? Turnover is basically the rate at which you're able to get inventory in and out of your business. So think about it from the standpoint of like, how fast am I able to get some inventory and then get it back out the door? So one thing that I realized about Forever 21, as I thought about the topic of this video, is that Forever 21 always had inventory coming in, but they always had inventory going out. They were really great at maintaining their inventory levels, which ultimately allowed them to control their cash flow. So one of the things that I notice about boutique owners is that they often don't have control over inventory coming in and out of their business. So this is totally outside of just being able to sell it, but generally speaking, just not having enough of the inventory in the first place. So for example, if we think about it from the angle of how most of the vendors that we shop with domestically, they sell us what's called a pre-pack. And in those pre-packs, they have pre-chosen what sizes we're going to get in that pack. So there might be 3 smalls, 2 mediums, 1 large, or 2, 2, 2, or 1, 2, 3. It differs per vendor. But when we do that, I'm sure, as some of you guys know, some of us get stuck with all the smalls. Some of us get stuck with all the larges. Some people get stuck with the mediums. It differs. But a lot of times when we start our boutiques, we start with the very minimum. We start with what we can afford. We start with, 1 pack of everything, which is fine. But again, we have to know that we're going to get stuck with something. There is room or likelihood that we're going to get stuck with something. So one of the mistakes that I find that happens with a lot of boutique owners is that we are trying to sell out. We want to be sold out, and we don't get more inventory until we're sold out. Like, our brain can't even fathom spending more money until we have sold all of what we have. So I'm filming this video over here because I want you guys to see these shelves. So every single shelf that you see, this actually goes a little bit further down, is completely full. I keep these shelves as full as possible at all times. And this isn't to say that I'm not selling anything or that, I'm not making money. I obviously am. But the more important thing is that I'm controlling the flow of inventory in and out of my business. So I am not waiting until everything is sold out before I buy some more. I am not telling myself that, I need to, clear an entire shelf before I can buy some more. I am every single week saying, how much money did we make last week? How much of that was profit? how much of that can we afford to put back into the business? So one thing that I realized about stores like Forever 21 is how they were able to always make their stores appear as full as possible. So even, on times where, for example, Black Friday weekend and things like that, they knew that obviously they were going to get blown out. They were going to have these doorbuster deals and all that stuff, and there was going to be empty spaces. I guarantee you by the next day, that space was completely full. I know for a fact because I was one of those people who was at the store overnight replenishing the store to make sure that by Saturday morning, it was completely full again. So one thing that Forever 21 did absolutely amazing was making sure that there was always a constant flow of inventory, not only going out, but also inventory coming in. If you are wanting to increase your income or your revenue, you have to gain control over inventory coming in and out of your business. So again, if you're struggling to sell in general, that is a totally different topic. But if you are making sales, no matter how big or small they are, a lot of times what's holding us back from making more money is our mindset around when we should get more inventory. So I want you to, if you can, flip your mindset and think about what you are preventing by not getting more inventory. If you are selling inventory, no matter what the rate of it is, no matter if you sold out of half of the pack and you still have half of it left, I want you to ask yourself, what am I preventing from happening by not bringing more inventory in? So anyway, Forever 21 is absolutely amazing at maintaining the turnover of inventory in and out of their business. And so I operate my business with that same kind of mentality. I always want there to be inventory coming in. So I'm actually going to insert a little clip of what it looked like when my inventory came last week. It was pretty darn insane. But yeah, that's my norm these days. Obviously, that wasn't the norm when I started, but as I continued in business, I kind of made a conscious decision to keep my prices low and to keep momentum high so that I can keep inventory coming in and out of my business. Now, I will say one thing in relation to turnover that kind of hurts people is that we just generally speaking aren't ordering enough in the first place, which results in us going back, and 9 times out of 10, we're ordering just a little bit again. So, for example, a lot of times we'll buy one, that one sells, and then we go back and we buy another one, when in actuality, you should go back and maybe buy 3 or maybe buy 4 and things of that nature. So we have to step outside of that scared mindset and just know that we are truly holding ourselves back if we stay in that mindset of, oh, I have to sell out of everything before I can get more of it. You run a store. I want you to know that. You run a store. I want you to take it seriously. And I always think about my business as it relates to, I always relate it back to retail. So think about it from the standpoint of, let's start with your content. So if you don't have any new inventory coming in, there's likely no new content happening on your profile. I like to think about my profile as a window display. So the window display is typically what causes someone to want to come into the store. Whatever they see on the window display or in the window display is what causes them to want to enter the door. So I think about my profile as the window display, and I think about my website as the actual store itself. So if my windows never update, there's never any new merchandise, there's never no new images or anything like that, it's not likely that anyone's going to want to come into my store. If there is constantly new inventory, at least new imagery, new ways of styling the merchandise, things like that, that increases interest, which ultimately can increase the traffic to my store. And then once they're in the store, I need the store to be full. It doesn't make sense for me to send people there and they are like, wow, everything's sold out. So I like to think about that as it relates to if every single column or row on my website was a rack, I asked myself, well, if those are empty, what's going to make someone want to go to the back of the store? If the first thing that they see is empty, the first racks that they see are empty, why should they want to go to the back of the store? They won't. So I am always, again, trying to keep my racks as full as possible because that excites people. Nobody wants to shop at an empty store. People want a piece of the pie. And ultimately, you should want, your cash flow to keep going. So one of the ways that you can keep your cash flow going is by controlling the flow of inventory in and out of your business. All right, so now we're walking down to where Forever 21 is. So Forever 21 has moved in the mall since I worked here 80 billion years ago. They now occupy a new space, and I'm going to turn my camera on so you can see. So surprisingly, Forever 21 is the reason why I am able to fold my sweatpants so good for my product pictures. I spent many hours sitting on the floor folding jeans while I was working here at the age of 17. But as we walk in here, I just wanted to show you guys kind of how they don't put as much emphasis on the displays and things of that nature, but more so just how full, the racks are, how full the walls are. And one of the things that I remember most about working here was how these spaces were always filled. So like, I don't know if you guys can see, but every space is full. Like you probably have to, dig through to find what you're looking for, to find your size. They keep all of these racks as full as possible. Even as you sail through them, they are replenishing them like in the moment and not like the next day or next week. They typically already have things in the back waiting so that they can keep these spaces full. So we're going to talk a little bit more about visual merchandising and how they can play a role in your store sales. But I just wanted to show you guys a visual of how full Forever 21 keeps their racks in their store and things of that nature. So let's get back to the good stuff. So one thing that I want you guys to know is that there is a such thing as your turnover being too high. You don't want to be selling your inventory too fast because a lot of times we don't have control over, being able to order the inventory and get it back from our manufacturers in a timely fashion and things like that. So if you notice that you are running out of inventory too quickly, that means that you are not ordering enough in the first place. I'm going to say that again. If you are ordering or if you are running out of inventory very, very quickly, you are not ordering enough. So when I look at these shelves, I always tell myself, you ordered more than enough, Jance. You're good. You did good, girl. When those shelves get empty, when they empty out fast, I'm like, oh no, we need to go back and we need to order double the amount that we did the last time. So again, just going back to that mentality of like wanting to sell out super fast, get rid of it. Get rid of it. If your goals are to make money, and when I say money, I mean real money, you're going to have to learn to start investing your money into your business. You're going to have to become okay with allowing inventory to sit. It needs to be there. You need to have inventory readily available to add to your website at any moment. Should you sell out, you should be able to immediately add something in its place. There should never be a time where your website is empty, people, ever. Okay, so it's clearly nighttime. I'm at home. This video is going to be all out of order, but I needed to add this part in between some clips. So another thing that I remember about Forever 21 that kind of plays a role in my business as well is that there are certain items that they always have and always have had. So those items are like the leggings and the tank tops and the t-shirts and things like that. Sorry, it's loud outside. So they've always had like the basic leggings that cost like $5. They have the tank tops that are like $1.90, $2.90, something like that. And they also have the t-shirts that are like $4.90, $5.90, something along those lines. So one thing, I think I kind of stuck with that 90 ending. It stuck with me ever since, 2007. So all of my prices end in 90. And then also I have products that I have literally had all year. My sweatpants have literally been here all year. It's a staple product for my brand that people continuously buy, no matter what the weather is like, no matter what colors I have. They always gravitate to those. I can always put those products at the forefront of my business, and I know that I can always use those. It's like an easy add-on and something that I know I could maximize my sales in and still make a ton of money at the end of the day. So I think I also kept that with me, that they've always had like certain products that just always existed, even all the way back in 2007. And those things have played a huge role in their business because people come in and they don't just buy one because they're so cheap. They buy, every color that's available. And the same thing happens with my brand. They buy every single color because it's cheap and the colors are great and they love it. So I just want to throw that in here. So in case you're wondering how you can use this information regarding turnover, I want you to know that you should start analyzing how quickly you're able to not only just sail through all of your inventory, but how quickly you're able to sail through different categories in your inventory. So one of the things that I've learned about my business is that there are certain categories that I am able to sell a lot quicker than others. So when you're able to pinpoint something that is truly working for your business as far as turnover, you want to maximize whatever that is. So for me, that's like matching sets and bottoms. I can sell a ton of, sweatpants and biker shorts and things like that in a very, very quick span of time. And also whenever I need a boost in sales, like if I'm, behind or anything like that, I always know that either I can get more bottoms and that will get me through, or I can run a promotion around the bottoms that I have left over, and that will also help me out as well. So you want to be able to identify the things in your business that are really like driving the money, driving the revenue, and not, continue to make a bunch of random inventory decisions and, get stuck with all this unsold inventory and all your cash be tied up. All right, so you might be wondering, how in the world did Forever 21 do such an amazing job of having great turnover? How were they able to control the flow of inventory in and out of their business? So I think that they were able to do that by having, one, low prices, but two, really great visual merchandising. So I will say these days, visual merchandising in Forever 21 is pretty non-existent. It's not great. When I worked there, it was amazing. We spent a lot of time, effort, and energy putting these amazing displays together and making sure that every single inch of the store looked great and told a story that made people want to buy. So when I worked there, every single section of the store was called a zone, and every single zone had a theme. So for example, this side might be the jungle fever theme. This side might be the disco Barbie theme. This side back here might be the we're going on a boat, we're going sailing theme. Over here we might have the preppy chic theme. Back there we got the athletic theme. Whatever. Every single section, every single section had a theme. And so within those themes were different wall structures, different racks, and things of that nature, mannequins, tables, all those things. Every single element of each of those zones added to the story that was being told. Visual merchandising is all about telling a story through what people can visually see. So a lot of times when we go into stores, imagine when you see a rack, there's something on the front of the rack and you're like, man, I really like that shirt. And then behind it, there's a pair of pants. And you're like, dang, I really like those pants. And then there might be a jacket and you're like, shoot, I think I might need that jacket too. And then there's a mannequin standing to the left or that's my right. And she's wearing this full blown outfit and she has on a hat and she has the belt and she has the crossbody bag. And you're like, shoot, I need that whole outfit. That is visual merchandising. That is intentional visual merchandising. That's a skill that a lot of boutique owners lack. So here I wanted to just show you guys a visual example of what it should not look like. This is a local boutique. I don't know the name, but as you can see, the visuals are not telling a story. It's very unorganized, it's messy, and no one will want to shop there. Here is the front of American Eagle. As you can see, the display looks amazing. And then to the right, they have a denim wall. You can create this in your stores. And then this is H&M. As you can see, there's a story being told through the colors, through the patterns, and it's very intentional. So a few elements that play into effective visual merchandising include not only intentionally choosing styles, but also intentionally choosing colors. So a lot of times when we go into stores, you may notice that your eye kind of like gravitates to certain aspects of the store. So there might be like this wall of really pretty pastel colors or this wall of really pretty dark colors for fall, or you see some knits and you see some jeans next to it. It's like, man, I really love what I see here. Those are intentional choices. They know that when they chose to put this next to this next to this, somebody was going to say, oh my God, I need all of these things. So when you're thinking about it in relation to your online store, I want you to think about, again, think about those rows and columns on your website as if they were racks or as if they were wall displays in an actual store. I want you to ask yourself, what does a person need to see, and in what order do they need to see it to get them to buy all of the things, or to get them to want to buy as many of those things as possible. So when I get, some new tops, new bottoms, new jackets, new sweaters, whatever, I am intentionally organizing them or putting them in a specific order on my website, because I want them to literally go add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. Oh, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. Oh my God, add to cart, add to cart. I want them to want all of it. And then that's not even to say, for example, on the product page, you can add extensions like frequently bought together, which is a Shopify app, which allows you to show complementary or items that would complement whatever they're looking at. It's kind of like looking at a rack. I am telling you exactly what you need to be able to build an outfit, to tell a story through your merchandise, to tell a story that aligns with your brand in the moment. So I really want you guys to know how visuals, or know that visuals can play a huge role in your ability to drive sales in your business. So if you ever look at my Instagram, which I'm going to put right here, if you look at it, you can see there's some intentional things happening there. It looks good on purpose. This is not by chance. This is not random. This is me saying, I'm thinking about my profile, my window. Remember, my profile is my window. I'm thinking about this window as if it were a window to a store, and this window needs to be so attractive that someone says, oh my God, I want to see what else is inside. Period. So visual merchandising is a skill. I will not lie to you and say that it's something easy, that it comes naturally. It doesn't. But I would say that the first step, in my opinion, or the easiest step that you could take, would be choosing colors intentionally so that you can build something that is cohesive, and that makes it a lot easier for you to create content and create visuals and things like that that make sense and that people actually want to look at, and that isn't too much of an eyesore. So placing all of my items on a rack is really, really helpful to me in my business. One of the things that I really loved and what I remember about working at Forever 21 was how many times we were able to move things around from rack to rack and from zone to zone, and still being able to tell a story that was visually appealing and that caused customers to want to shop. So, as I sell through different styles and things of that nature, I'm also moving the styles around on my website, and the flow of my content on my social media pages is changing. So with that in mind, I want to make sure that I already have some awareness around what I would like things to look like as my inventory sells, so that I can make sure that my business still looks visually appealing and that people still feel attracted to it. All right, so the last part of this video is all about volume and what it means to drive volume through your store. So I kind of operate my business from the standpoint of selling as many items as possible to be able to make my goals, instead of selling the least amount of items possible to make my goals. So a lot of times stores have really high prices because they're trying to make really high profit from selling a smaller quantity of things. So I operate my store having items that I pay relatively small amounts of money for, but they still have great profit margins, and I sell a really high quantity of them. So I have good profit margins as well as really high revenue because I'm selling more items than the typical business. So basically, like most people, I didn't start with, a ton of money to spend. I had just what I had, and eventually when I got to the point where I could afford more packs of things, I again consciously kept my prices low so that I could sell a really high number of things and ultimately be able to maximize my revenue potential. So Forever 21 operates like that. They always have a lot of inventory. The prices are always relatively low, and they push a lot of inventory out of their store really, really fast as a result of great merchandising and great pricing. And they're able to bring in a lot more inventory on a regular basis. So that's one of those bigger things that I also took away from Forever 21 when I worked there, and that I have applied to my business as well. All right, so some key takeaways from this lesson or this video would be that if you have really low turnover, then that is possibly an indication that your sales are weak or you have a weak sales strategy. So keep that in mind. If you are selling out of things very slowly or are incapable of selling out of things, it's likely that you have a weak sales strategy or maybe even a non-existent sales strategy. On the opposite side, if you have high turnover, meaning you're selling through things very fast and regularly, that could be an indication that you have a very strong sales strategy or you have very strong sales, or it could also be an indication that you don't have enough inventory. You're not controlling your inventory well enough. So as you start to think about how you can apply this information to your business, a couple things I want you to think about are whether or not you have actual sales strategy that you are applying in your business. And if you do have sales strategy and you are seeing sales and they're coming regularly and they're going fast and things of that nature, I want you to ask yourself, are you buying enough inventory in the first place, or are you buying just enough for you to be able to sell out? So you want to make sure that inventory levels is something that's really important to you. Volume, deciding whether or not you want to be a store that, pushes a ton of volume, meaning having a bunch of inventory, possibly low prices. They don't have to be low prices, but possibly lower prices than most so that you can push more volume. Or do you want to have the type of business where you don't have to push as much volume or as much inventory and, having higher prices and things like that to be able to make those higher sales goals? And then lastly, thinking about how you can apply visual merchandising to your business. Even though you are online, that does not mean that your business can't or shouldn't be visually appealing. People should be able to look at your social media profiles or even your website and be able to tell what story you are trying to communicate as they look at your business online. So I hope this video was helpful. It was kind of long. I know I have truly not mastered making these videos, short and sweet and straight to the point. I don't know if I ever will, but I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope you found it valuable. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll put a poll in the comments and you guys can tell me what you would like to see or what you would like the next What I Learned Wednesday video to be about, or what brand you would like it to be about. And until next time, I'll see you guys next Wednesday.